these tragedies have just affected me, but I felt helpless to.
A town in mourning. Oxford, Michigan, where 4 students died in a school shooting this week.
It was shock. I couldn't absorb it. I couldn't believe it was Oxford High School.
Following the disappearance of Grand Valley State student Brendan Santo, Michigan State has had to find a way to make campus feel safer.
We are live from the banks of the Red Cedar with that story.
This Sparrow Services drive-through line is wrapped around the parking lot. I'll tell you why coming up.
Daycares are taking a new approach to helping students. Find out coming up on Focal Point.
It's the 3rd day of December 2021. Focal Point starts now. Hello and good evening. I'm Riley Wolfbauer.
And I'm Asia Lawrence. Welcome to Focal Point. It is the nation's deadliest school shooting since 2018. It left 4 people dead and 7 others injured on Tuesday.
The suspect, 15-year-old Ethan Crumley, faces murder charges as an adult and is an unprecedented move. Prosecutors have charged his parents as well, but his motive still remains a mystery.
Focal Point's Ian Gilmore has been in Oxford all day, where this story continues to change seemingly by the minute.
It seems everyone is grieving. Mark couldn't stay away.
All of these tragedies have just affected me, but I felt helpless to tell them how much we care and support the community, support the people.
He found himself here in front of Oxford High School, where a memorial keeps growing. Just a few days ago, 4 students died here, 7 others injured when another student brought a gun to school and started shooting.
Wish I didn't have to be out here.
Mark rode his bike from his friends in Lake Orion today.
I'm from Northville, and I wrote on the thing there that, Northville supports Oxford, and, anything that our community can do, we'll do it.
Grieving is all too familiar for Mark recently.
My wife passed away 8 or 9 months ago, and I know too raw how grieving is, and I feel so much more for these people now than I would have, 8 or 9 months ago. So
he left her necklace at the memorial.
That was a necklace that belonged to my wife, and I know it was an old necklace, it's probably a family necklace, but I think it is calling me, hey, this needs to go out here.
It seems no one in this community can believe what happened here, like Lorraine Mazzetti. She's lived in Oxford for 50 years. It hits close to home for her.
It was shock. I couldn't absorb it. I couldn't believe it was Oxford High School.
Lorraine hasn't seen the memorial in person, but she's seen pictures.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And it continues to grow. Hundreds of flowers, stuffed animals, candles, and notes, like this one, handwritten in blue marker from Wisconsin, that simply says, "Praying for healing within this beautiful community. We are immensely sorry for all you are going through. Our hearts are with you."
That was Ian Gilmore reporting from Oxford. Thank you, Ian. More than 100 people gathered at the Minskoff Pavilion Monday evening to remember the life of Fat Wen, the 21-year-old MS student who died on November 20th. The candlelight vigil helped warm the crowd on a cold evening that had friends and strangers stopping by. Members of Pi Alpha Phi and the president of the MSU Vietnamese Student Association talked about his character and how he will be missed. MSU counselors were also on hand, talking about resources available for students who are grieving. Wen had just joined Pi Alpha Phi hours before he died.
I wanted to honor him and respect him as much as I can. Obviously the funeral is kind of the first step, but then after that it's as much as I can to support his memory and his image.
Pi Alpha Phi is currently suspended. Officials say it could take up to 6 weeks for toxicology reports to determine cause of death.
A new app has been developed to help promote campus safety. It comes as police continue to search for a missing 18-year-old. Focal Point's Reagan Holgate is live on the banks of the Red Cedar with the first look. Reagan?
Yes, thank you, Asia. This is the section of the Red Cedar River that's right behind Jennison Fieldhouse. And if you take a look over here, I'm not sure how well you can see it because it is pretty dark out here, but they've installed black rubber mats behind me, and they're using this as the main entry point for those dive teams and those boats that are out there searching.
Hang in there. It's been almost a month. The search for 18-year-old Brendan Santo, the Grand Valley State student, has been missing since October 29th.
He was last seen leaving Yakeley Hall a little bit before midnight. From that point on, we don't know where he went.
For MSU Inspector Chris Rosman, the search for Brendan continues.
We have not located any of Brendan's personal property or any evidence related to his disappearance.
Their search efforts include multiple boats and dive teams sifting through the Red Cedar River.
We are really using every resource that we can think of and that we have available to us in this search.
For MSU, Brendan's disappearance has left a feeling of uncertainty.
Just going to my biology class the other day, there was cop cars looking in the river and everything, and it was just really scary.
President Stanley says they will install 300 new cameras and more lighting across campus.
We realized that that was an opportunity to improve when we realized and we learned that one particular camera at Yakeley Hall was not functioning the night that Brendan Santo went missing.
The MSU Police Department will continue the search.
And we're going to continue to get the word out until we can resolve this case and bring Brendan home.
It's been over a month, but the hope still remains.
He's been gone long enough, we want him home. And we're not going to give up until we bring him home.
It's the familiar sounds on campus that meant things were normal. Until they weren't.
It's really scary to walk around campus.
And there's no end in sight.
Inspector Rosman said they do talk daily to the Santo family to keep them updated on this progress in the investigation. And as of right now, dive teams will remain here searching in the water because it is the strongest lead that they have in trying to find Brendan Santo. And to try and keep people feeling safe here on campus, that the app that they are launching will be in less than 2 weeks to try and keep people, feeling safer here on campus. Live in East Lansing, I'm Reagan Holgate. Asia, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Reagan. This past fall, MSU required students, staff, and faculty to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 unless they had an exemption. And now, under President Biden's executive order, federal contractors, including those who work at MSU, will now have to provide proof of vaccination. Up until now, MSU only asked which vaccination was given and when. The university says it will soon release information on how to submit those vaccine cards. Those who missed the January 18th deadline may face discipline, which could result in termination.
College students are used to stress. It comes with being a student. But how about during a pandemic with new variants? Focal Point's McCoy Scribner tells us what the MSU community is doing to take precautions.
Finals week at Michigan State University is stressful. Throw in a pandemic and a new virus variant, the stress might reach a fever pitch.
But I'm anxious a little bit. The only thing that's coming up in my head with finals is grading.
But students are finding little wins.
At least it's not bitter cold.
And little wins will go a long way at a time like this. A new COVID-19 variant called Omicron was identified in the United States.
It's important to know that it's a variant of concern. We don't know a lot about it yet. Most of what you're seeing about it is scientific hypothesis based on anecdotal observation of things.
While there are no reported cases in the state of Michigan yet, places like the Olin Health Center on Michigan State's campus are taking precautions.
So I think that the quicker that we can get used to this, we'll be better off. So masks indoors, social distancing, doing what we can to make good choices.
One of those choices might be getting your COVID-19 booster shot.
I actually got the booster vaccine day before yesterday, Wednesday.
So the CDC recently strengthened their recommendation to anyone over 18 years old. We know, of course, that they are safe, effective, and free. So anyone who has had their first 2 doses of Pfizer or Moderna is eligible after 6 months since their last dose, or 2 months after the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine. Definitely an important piece of stopping this pandemic.
Daniel Sargiv is from Austria. He's getting the booster shot so he can go home to see his family.
So I'm getting a Moderna just to see my dad in Austria, and then I think I might get a new dose of Sputnik, that's Russian vaccine, when I go back to Russia to see my mom.
And even though the booster might give individuals some side effects,
I had like a mild warm temperatures.
It's also giving them a sight to the end of the pandemic.
I guess this is
in East Lansing,
kind of the start of the end. I don't know. Yeah, hopeful.
I'm McCoy Scribner. Focal Point News.
Those interested in getting their COVID-19 booster can go to pharmacy.msu.edu to schedule an appointment.
Coming up, we all have heard about Black Friday, but what about Green Friday?
And is it laboratory or a daycare? We'll take you to a place in Okemos that helps kids develop creative minds, and Hikaru Kudo is standing by at the weather wall.
That's right, Riley. You're looking at a live shot of the Michigan State campus. We had some snow this week, but should we be ready for some more coming up? Well, I'm Hikaru Kudo, and we'll have your weather report up next.
Life hasn't been the same since COVID. We all know that. The pandemic has affected each of our lives differently. Some have lost loved ones. Some have lost their jobs. Some have lost out on important milestones like graduation. Some really adds up to most. Most of us have been affected in some way with this pandemic. Stop the spread and mask up.
Mask up so I can travel. Mask up so I can go to tailgates. Mask up so I can go to concerts.
Mask up so I can see my family.
Mask up so we can live again.
Welcome back to Focal Point. If you missed Black Friday, there are still some deals in East Lansing today. The city calls it Green Friday.
Maisha Johnson will tell us what businesses are participating.
'Tis the season to shop. They call it Green Friday, but it will last until tomorrow when shoppers get deals.
I was gonna get my dad like a Michigan State dad shirt for Christmas.
Small businesses get support.
We're gonna look for Christmas gifts.
Like Campus Corner, where customers can find 10% off things green and white. Kate Petch works at the store.
I was hired to write on the windows.
She said,
I'm not sure if everybody knows about Green Friday, but
she does now. Today is the beginning of a busy weekend, but these businesses are getting ready. I'm Aisha J, Focal Point News.
The deals will continue tomorrow during East Lansing's Winter Glow event from 2 to 5 p.m. To find more businesses participating in Green Friday, go to cityofeastlansing.com/Green Friday.
Winter is here, and we've already had a few measurable snows.
Hikaru Kudo is live in the studio with a look at this week's weather. How's it looking out there?
Well, indeed it is. Well, it looks like it's time to bundle up this weekend, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the national weather map first, shall we? All the way up in the West Coast, all the way on my right-hand side, you have 39 degrees up in Seattle. You're kind of working your way down to your 50s. Now, I want to move all the way into right where I am right here, down to where Florida is behind myself. Florida's and Miami is at 70 degrees, but as you can see, the mixture of the temperatures right now ranging from that 30 to 70s as expected right now. Now let's talk about the Midwest and Michigan around here. 37 here in Detroit, 36 in Grand Rapids, 33 on the other side of the lake, right? And then we head down Kansas City behind me, Charleston as well, 54 degrees. What about the weather that's coming up around this area? Well, we're seeing mid to high 30s in Michigan, all upper 30s right here, 37, 38, 36, 38 in Detroit, snow and rain possible. And as we look at our 7-day forecast weekend, rain and snow, we'll have temperatures reaching 40 degrees as we head back down next week. So get those coats ready, get them bundled up, as even though we're going to get some snow and rain, you might see some sleet in there as well. So definitely be safe out there, folks. As we start driving more and deeper into this winter weather. Well, that's all I got for weather. Stay warm out there, everybody. Riley, Asia, back to you guys.
New restaurant opened up on Grand River, replacing what used to be the Pita Pit. Capo's Grill opened up on Grand River a few weeks ago, serving a variety of hoagies, Philly cheesesteaks, burgers, fries, and more. The owners are familiar with the area, owning Lou and Harry's just 2 doors down. They said they wanted to open Capo's to add more late-night options in downtown East Lansing.
Outside of pizza in downtown East Lansing, there's not very much variety anymore. We had a lot of places leave out of town, so we really want to try to fill the gap of the late-night food scenarios.
Capo's is open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday, and they are planning a grand opening in January.
Daycares are no longer just drop-off places for kids to play. The Tinker Lab produces students of the future. Chandra Fleming takes us to the new lab and shows us how kids are learning by playing.
It's been an adventure.
Inside this lab, they work on engineering, math, and science. It just so happens that the workers are also in daycare.
Very hands-on, it's sensory focused, it's discovery.
Melissa Rabiday came up with the idea of the Tinker Lab 7 years ago.
So we moved to this location so that we could open up the preschool in the back.
Melissa says she knew there was a big need for youngsters to learn science, technology, engineering, art, and math, or STEAM for short. So she did something about it.
And what this is going to do is in the future, they will have it so ingrained in them that they will learn the process of discovery, and that will translate as they get older.
The Tinker Lab is not your average daycare or even your average retail store. They actually have a couple things that are quite the surprise.
We also do custom laser engraving, so if you have cups or if you need any sort of laser engraving done, we can do that.
They also have their own kits called Tinker DIY, which are made in Lansing. They opened this new location on the corner of Park Lane and East Grand River in East Lansing in October.
I'm excited to see how it continues.
In East Lansing, Chandra Fleming for Focal Point News.
To learn more about the Tinker Lab, check out their website at tinkerlab.com.
The owner of a local nonprofit that helps cancer survivors has now branched out with a new venture at the Lansing Mall. Shirley Carter Powell opened Illians, a retail shop where all the items are free for those in need. Illians has basic toiletries, toys, women's clothing, and men's shoes. The store is named after Powell's mother, who encouraged Shirley and her 9 siblings to always give back.
And she always said, there's someone worse off than you. So if you can help one person, then you have not lived your life in vain.
Illians is always accepting items and cash donations. The store is open by appointment only. Click on AgainstAllOddsFoundation.com to schedule an appointment.
You saw her in High School Musical, and now Vanessa Hudgens is making a return to the big screen, along with her Spider-Man co-star.
And Broadway shows are back in town with a Tony Award-winning musical coming to the Wharton Center next week. Focal Point's Molly Gundry is live in the newsroom with the musical entertainment report. Molly?
Yeah, Riley, this week in entertainment, we have a movie perfect for musical lovers, especially fans of Rent, written by Jonathan Larson. Larson died shortly before Rent's Broadway premiere, and his life is now immortalized in a new film.
Hello. Hi, welcome. I'm Jonathan Larson.
Now on Netflix, Tick Tick Boom from the mind of Lin-Manuel Miranda stars Andrew Garfield and Vanessa Hudgens. Garfield plays Jonathan Larson, an aspiring composer in New York City who is worried he made the wrong career choice. Larson navigates relationships and sings a few songs while doing it. If you have Disney Plus, we have your Wednesday plans covered. Hawkeye follows Clint Barton as he's forced to deal with the problems of his past while mentoring a new Avenger, Kate Bishop.
You're Hawkeye!
Who the hell are you?
If you love Marvel, this show is right on target. Next week on December 7th, the musical Hadestown hits the Wharton Center. The play shares 2 mythic tales, Orpheus and Eurydice, and Hades and Persephone. Bex Odoricio plays one of the Fates.
When you hear the word musical, this is not the musical that you're thinking of. Everyone who has seen the show leaves with their heart changed a little bit, a little or a lot.
Student tickets are $29 and can be bought on whartoncenter.com. The show starts Tuesday and runs until December 12th. Back to you guys at the desk.
Coming up on Focal Point, Jews around the world are celebrating Hanukkah this week. We'll show you what the MSU community is doing to commemorate the holiday.
In Focal Point's McCoy Scribner will have highlights from men's and women's basketball, along with an update on Spartan football and this week's sports.
Is this ride for Tiana?
Yeah, it is.
Where are you headed?
I'm just going to my dorm.
All right.
We passed my dorm like 5 turns ago.
No, it's okay. I know where I'm going.
Well, the number 22 Michigan State men's basketball team faced the Louisville Cardinals at home on Wednesday night as part of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Point guard Tyson Walker led the team in assists with 10 and had 4 steals to go along with the team's strong performance. Walker's steal and pass led to an easy transition basket for junior forward Malik Hall. Slam dunk from Marcus Bingham Jr. put the Spartans up at 36-28 at halftime. Starting in the second half, the Spartans continued their hot shooting streak with Gabe Brown diving to the lane and finishing a difficult layup. Tom Izzo said at the end of the game that his team played phenomenal defense and that it led to an improved offensive showcase.
It was a struggle in doing them, and some of that is them too. And they're pretty good defensively. They came at us, pressured us. I thought out-physicaled us, especially in the first half.
The Spartans' record improved 6-2 after defeating the Cardinals 73-64. They will host the Toledo Rockets on Saturday at 5 p.m. The women's basketball team played at home against the Fighting Irish in the Big Ten ACC Challenge on Thursday night. Both teams entered the first quarter scoring all around the court. The Fighting Irish came in shooting with confidence from the distance. Here's Matilda Eck making it look too easy. She passes straight through 2 defenders, drives to the rim and scores. Eck tied her season high with 17 points. Sparty was feeling the heat in the second quarter. The two teams would have 3 lead changes. Nia Clouden dominated the night with 20 points. Clouden has led the team in scoring in 7 straight games and in 7 of the team's 9 games. Eliza Winston had spirit with 5 seconds left of the game. This was Winston's 7th game this season with double figures. Although forward players scored in double figures, Notre Dame defeated MSU 76-71.
Big, although they didn't pull away as bad as they could have, thank God. I thought we found a way to keep it a 4-point quarter between us, and that could have got ugly. But I thought our kids really fought hard all the way through.
The Spartans will travel to Iowa on December 5th. You can catch the game on Big Ten Network. The Spartan football team wrapped up their regular season with a win against Penn State last weekend while playing in a snowstorm. The team moved up 1 spot to number 11 in this week's college football playoff top 25. The Spartans have a chance to make it a New Year's 6 bowl. Projections include the Fiesta, Citrus, or Outback Bowls. Selections will be announced on Sunday. Head coach Mel Tucker was named Big Ten Coach of the Year by both the media and coaches in the conference. Tucker is the 6th coach in program history to win the award. In just his 2nd year as head coach, Tucker was able to turn around his debut season of 2-5 and get his team to 10 wins. Tucker is the fastest coach in MSU history to reach 10 wins in a season. Tucker has also signed a 10-year, $95 million contract extension. He earned a $25,000 bonus for being named Big Ten Coach of the Year. The Michigan Wolverines compete in the Big Ten Championship against Iowa on Saturday night in Indianapolis. The team announced yesterday they would wear a patch to commemorate the victims of the Oxford shooting. The initials TM stand for Tate Meyer, who played football for Oxford. The 4 hearts represent the 4 students who died. The shape of the patch symbolizes the block for O for Oxford. If Michigan wins, they will likely get a bid to the college football playoff. Kickoff is set for 8 p.m. at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, McCoy. And finally, tonight marks the 6th night of Hanukkah. Jewish students on campus celebrated Wednesday night with the grand menorah lighting on campus. The celebration of the 4th night of Hanukkah, put on by the MSU Hillel and the Chabad Jewish Student Center, was dedicated to the victims at Oxford High School. The event in front of the MSU Union included traditional foods fried in oil, such as jelly donuts and potato pancakes. The East Lansing Fire Department also tossed out chocolate coins, a favorite treat for the holiday. MSU President Samuel Stanley welcomed the crowd and lit the first candle.
So it was really awesome not only to have President Stanley here, but also have a bunch of different students recognized for all the work that they're doing on campus, and then I also love getting to light a candle too.
The holiday, also known as the Festival of Lights, commemorates when the Greeks destroyed the Jewish temple more than 2,000 years ago. They found enough oil to light the menorah for one day. After searching for more oil, they returned 8 days later, and the menorah was still lit, creating a great miracle. Hanukkah goes until sundown Monday, with the 8th candle lit Sunday evening. Speaking of sundown, it's now sundown here, which means it's officially the 6th night of Hanukkah. Asia, do you want to do the honors?
Absolutely.
That's all for this week's edition of Focal Point. I'm Riley Wolfbauer.
And I'm Asia Lawrence, and from all of us here at Focal Point, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.